We got to do it big for episode 100, though.
Yeah, we're gonna do a big episode 100, but this is back to its original form where it started in the man cave. Rick, he here with me. He just the feedback with the electronics and stuff is, so we gotta separate. But in the midst of this is where we had Wangs. We got Wangs talk our shit. Our daily, our weekly thing. Let our hair down and just be who we are. So,
talk about the trials and tribulations of life.
Exactly. On a full stomach, burping, farting, scratching the ass, and
Yeah.
it is what it is. But can I need you to reiterate and talk about that post that got shared?
All right. So on my Facebook page, and it's Leroy Michaels for anybody that's watching and wants to know. Matter of fact, I'll even go back later on and make that particular post public. But yeah, so it's Leroy Michaels for any of y'all that want to go back and see the post. But I had said that I'm convinced y'all be lying when y'all say y'all want a good nigga. And I had asked you to share the post because I ain't got quite the following you got. And so I wanted to see as many different responses and opinions to the post as possible.
And that's what we got, many different. And I had to go back. If I stopped, I was like, "Oh shit, that's a way to look at it." Then somebody broke it down. The first person broke it down was like, "Niggas, girls, women don't want niggas; they want men."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So,
while I do understand that there's a difference, at the same time, and I'm not going to say the lady's name or but there was a comment that said using the word nigga is a sign of being undeveloped as far as maturity and spirituality goes.
Mm.
But the only reason I did disagree with that is like the reason I use the word personally is to show that the word has no power over me, even with me knowing where it comes from. One of my history teachers actually once told me, old black, like one of those old, like when I say old, I mean you could hear our ancestors in his voice old.
Oh damn.
Old black man.
Sharecropping and whatnot.
Oh, he the one that said, listen, man, the words that you use only got the power that you give.
Absolutely. But the thing is, too, the old sharecropper done seen some things. And then another thing, we come from that. We come from that. Our ancestors come from that. Anything that had anything to do with a free slave, they were sharecropping.
Mm-hmm.
And they learned their way. They got about their way and stuff like that, and everything in between. So we got it in us. The thing is, though, like, how far we want to step away from that?
I mean, I don't necessarily think it's something that we should be stepping away from. I think it's something that we should be embracing. But at least the spirit and the mindset of what a lot of our ancestors had, especially compared to how we living in these generations today.
Yeah, I want to.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, because a comparison I actually just thought of. So there's this new thing going around in the black nerd community called Night Skins. And Night Skins is now a player-created race for the different video games, the D&D games, and comic book creators and all of that, those of us that are black. And it started off as a racial slur by some skinheads that was mad that Crunchyroll said, we about to hire some black voice actors for the English version of some of our anime. Right? And because he had jumped on Twitter talking about, oh, Holy War, that's the Night Skins, well, never that. Like it was originally meant to be a racial slur.
And look what we did with Twitter. We got Black Twitter.
The black nerd community took what was supposed to be a racial slur and demeaning and degrading and turned it into something beautiful and powerful, and every black nerd that knows about it, they created a Night Skin character with all these awesome powers and abilities. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I personally feel like the word nigga, I'll probably be 90 years old using the word nigga in my sentences because it's a word. It only got the power that we give it. When I call somebody my nigga, you my brother. We come from the same. We come from the same struggle. We coming from the same root. They forced my ancestors on them boats just like they forced yours on them boats. So when I say you my nigga, I'm saying we in this together, my brother.
Yeah. But with us, depending on how you saying nigga, it could be good or bad.
It could be. It could be taken out of context, but for the most part, it's not. Like somebody want to be specific, they'll be specific about it, but the understanding is universal.
Yeah, like when somebody gets to adding some adjectives, now when a black person talking to you and they get to add some adjectives before the word nigga, now they trying to be disrespectful.
Yeah, you black, lazy.
When they get to say, oh, DA nigga and all that, like when they get to add the adjectives. Oh, yeah, I forgot you said we can't cuss on here.
Yeah, you can. You can. You can cuss. But yeah, man. Thing is about this though, people have to have an understanding and communicate. Communication is very key on our progress. Because somebody might think somebody not for the culture and they 100% for the culture. Prime example, Charles White. Y'all have y'all opinions on White? Yeah, Charleston White. Y'all might have y'all opinions on him, but I think he wants the race to go forward.
Well, the problem with it is most people don't really know nothing about him, and all they're getting is little sound bites. So when he's saying stuff, you know, you're gonna form your opinion off of a 30-second sound bite when you ain't even really got all of what he was trying to give you.
And who is Charles White?
He is an activist out of Texas. He had did some time in prison as a youth. He was there when some of his friends had murdered this white dude, and he basically worked with like capital murder cases, things of that nature. And really, it's just a wake-up call for the black community. What he doing?
Absolutely, man. Like one thing I'm sick of within our own community is this don't snitch mentality. Because motherfucker, I see you break into the old lady house next door to me. If I ain't got a gun to shoot through my damn stuff, I'm calling the police on your bitch ass.
Mm-hmm. And he do that. He will do that.
I deliver stuff for a living, man. You know, drive a little box truck, going around and making my drop offs and whatnot. So I was in Detroit today, and I came across this old lady. She was my first stop, and she was talking about how she got one of the neighbor kids from up the street that, you know, he in his early 20s, and she needs stuff done. She didn't got up at her age. She ain't got the strength to do it herself, and be trying to get him to do it, and just basically going on about how he got a lack of respect for his elders in his community and is lazy, man. And you seem to get a lot of that. I don't want to put it on everybody, man, but you know, just don't want to do nothing. They don't have no respect for their elders. They want to live off of everybody else. It's sad, man. It's sickening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but to recognize something is to be able to fix it. Or make other people aware.
It's great to have awareness, but it's like a face without works is dead. If you ain't doing nothing to actually fix the problem, then you a part of the problem. And you can't fix people, a nation of people as a whole. It's gotta start with you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be a reflection of whatever you talking about.
Absolutely. I think, listen, I feel like our biggest problem amongst, like, within the black community is we, amongst ourselves, we look for too many ways to be divided against each other. Like, there's no way I should be looking at somebody that comes from the same circumstances and struggles and backgrounds and history that I've come from as my opposition and my enemy. If anything, hey man, what can I learn from you? And what can you learn from me?
If most people don't have that mentality, man, you know, you could learn something from a fool if you take the time to listen to what they're trying to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see somebody in your life that's barely making it or not making it at all, what do you feel like they can tell you or they have to offer that's gonna help your life?
You know, like, and I used to be one of them young niggas, man, like the old heads that try to holler at me, or like the dope teens that try to big game, and I'll be looking at them like, we was just serving you up at the spot last night. I ain't trying to hear nothing you talking about.
We had this conversation earlier. It's something you can learn from everybody.
But it's funny now because now that I'm older and I'm looking back at all the stuff they were saying, like, okay, yeah, they was high as hell, but
Literally high as
that ain't
hell
changed them.
might be hitting it in front of you and telling you, like, young man, this ain't what you need to be doing.
Like, but it didn't change the truth in what they were saying when they was, even though they just came to the trap and bought the stuff, it didn't change the truth of them telling me, hey, young blood, get up out these streets.
Most definitely. But trying to be a part of this society, a lot, especially the youth, they don't see no future. You know what I mean? And most
That's
of them
because
is
we're,
being handed
that's
to
because,
them.
Now go ahead.
That was it.
no, I'm saying that's because, man, we done got to a point, man, where we just said fuck the village, and we allowing entertainers and athletes to raise our children.
Well,
Like
it
prime
became,
And
example,
it's not their job
like,
either though.
like a prime example, right? You know the comedian Jess Hilarious.
yeah,
She be with Lil Rel Harvey. That she be on Wild 'N Out.
Yeah, I know what you're
She
talking
had
about.
made it. She had posted a video talking about some y'all broken single because y'all listening to these rich, happily married or in a happy relationship women telling y'all to go be thoughts. But they ain't running around being thoughts in their relationship. They just making music that sells.
portraying the image.
All right, like when you see like when the paparazzi catch them out and about on their normal day-to-day activities, they don't be dressed like they is in their music videos. They be dressed in something like your girl might wear to the grocery store, some sweatpants, a t-shirt, and some shoes.
We get a lot of life imitating art.
Mm. When art should be an imitation of life.
In a lot of ways it is, but not the good art. Nobody imitating that. Positive things in positive music, positive stuff on TV. That's not gonna get no airtime.
Listen, Busy Bone that did an interview with some people talking about another secret interview where they was talking about the future of the rap game, like the reason that conscious rappers ain't been big since the 80s. The reason why if you rap it about something educational and uplifting, you can't really make no real money in the music industry ever since the 80s. All they want is this ever since it was the big old secret meet. And with all the record producers and some people that ain't listen, they specifically said we're not signing no more political artists, we're not signing no more woke or conscious artists. We signed a gangster rappers. We signed the people that make stupid, feel good music.
Well, see, the thing about that is it's what the people want at the same time. So how can you deny it?
But see, here's the thing though. Can you say it's what the people want if you're not really offering them another viable option? All right, because think about it, right? If I tell you, here, you can have this $500 for free, or you can swim through this shark-infested water with a cut on your leg, running down the side of both your legs to get to $10,000, but there's a 90% chance you're gonna die before you get to the money. Which one you gonna take?
Hey, you gotta look at it like this: chances make champions, and you're gonna take chances to get to where you need to be.
But most people is gonna take what's right there.
Yeah.
So if you're not really offering a real viable option, right? If all the stuff that automatically comes on TV is degrading about women and divisive and filled with hate and violence and all of that, and I've got to like go and research and search out and find the good stuff that's going to bring positive energy into my atmosphere when I'm watching it or listening to it. Majority of people, because of the progression of technology and the dependence on technology over the ages, majority of people ain't even got the attention span to even think about where to go to find that stuff. So they just gonna go with what's already being fed to them through the airway. So the option is there, but it's not a real option because it's not readily accessible. Just like healthy food versus unhealthy food. A meal at McDonald's is $10. You go get the stuff to make that same meal in a healthier way at Whole Foods, you paying like $50, $60.
Ain't no such thing as the same meal as McDonald's. And you said healthy too. That don't go together.
Okay, well, whatever. Listen, one meal at a restaurant with all this cloned meat and stuff that they selling, and all these GMOs and all that, right? It's gonna cost you about $10 to $20. One meal, right, with the real food and the real meat and the real vegetables and the non-GMOs and all that comes from a listen. That same meal, but with the real food instead of the artificial grown in the lab and GMO stuff. That same meal that's going to keep you alive instead of slowly killing you is going to cost you 2 to 3 times more. So we live in a society where they pretend like they're giving us options, but really, when you enforce poverty as a means of control over the vast majority of your population, and then you make the better options of life, of living, more than what they can afford on top of all their other expenses, you're not really giving people an option. You're forcing people to stay in a condition of poverty, which is condition of mentality, of which reciprocates a poverty-stricken mindset, which is what reciprocates the cycle of violence.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're not calling it GMO no more. It's biologically engineered, whatever.
It's the same thing. They can change the name as much as they want.
They changed the name of it, but it's probably because people started catching on to the GMO, so you call it something different to make it sound better.
But you know, nobody really, because they know majority of Americans don't pay attention to nothing.
No. I mean, well, you know, it's a
every presidential speech I remember, whatever president it was up there contradicting himself 3-4 times in the same speech.
It happens to this day.
People don't never pay attention to that.
It happens
and
to
people
this day.
don't pay. Yeah, look, Biden be up there. He'll say one thing. Listen, here's the dumb. This blew my mind. This blew my mind. Okay. Biden said that if you are in an area that is known for hurricanes, right, that the most important thing you can do for the safety of your family during hurricane season is to get vaccinated.
Yeah, I remember that. What the hell the vaccination got to do with a hurricane?
That just blows my mind. Okay, all right, go on. The fuck? Like, what does it have to do with? Oh, we vaccinated, so a piece of wood cinder block go through your fucking house, your shit collapse. Y'all vaccinated, being crushed
the vaccine,
by a fucking...
Listen, no, look, I guess you're gonna breathe out, and the vaccine is gonna like form a shield to stop it or something. I don't know.
Superhero type shit. Like, ooh. Who has?
I still think the whole monkeypox is scam people vaccinated.
Listen, all these diseases that have been coming out over these last few years was made in a laboratory somewhere.
Hey, we got to steer away from
okay. In my personal opinion.
Okay, here we go. All right.
In my personal opinion, and in no way, shape, form, or fashion am I stating this is fact.
And this is not the views and opinions of the People's Podcast. We're only stating our opinions and everything like that. Allegedly.
This is the personal opinion of Mike Toon, aka Toon did it. This is my personal opinion.
And if I get a flag of like Toon did it, damn it, you better have a fucking YouTube page so I can tag you and Toon did it.
Listen, I'll send you my YouTube page.
The fact that you got to go through all of that just to say what's on your mind and speak your opinion, show you that freedom of speech don't really exist.
No, it doesn't. And I realized that when I had the show that they actually got took down. It was a great show. Yeah. They actually got took down, literally. Like, damn. Listen, I was irresponsible with information.
But I did a video. Well, actually, it was a duet to another video that was already up on TikTok about a scandal in Barton Police Department in Ohio. You know, that's right up under us. That's like a 30-minute drive from home. That is not that far from home. No, so when I think that it hit real close, because like I've been to Ohio. I've had to drive through Lawton, Ohio before. Right, so it hit close. Right, and it was a case like it was some real bad conspiracy. Like ain't nobody died, but the people involved could have died because the police was going taking things way too far with some kids, right? And TikTok took the original video down, talking about now it wasn't showing nothing graphic. The guy wasn't cut like the guy talking about the video and showing the footage and stuff and the facts from the lawsuit and all. Like he had all types. Like it was like his shit was fact checked out. Like he had the links for his fact check sources in the little bio for his video. Right?
Yes,
They said it violated community guidelines. Right? But there's another lady that's on TikTok going around showing it's an old white lady showing other white people how to do blackface so well that you can literally pass as a black person, but they ain't taking that shit down.
No, and I don't think it works either, though. I'm sorry.
It's an old white guy on there called Peter File that be stalking little kids' TikTok pages and videos being creepy as hell. And they took him down.
Yeah,
okay.
And Peter,
there's a guy on there. There's people on there that be there be people on there that be threatening the LGBTQ community with violence, and they don't take that down. And these are all things that are very clearly against the community guidelines that this so-called police brutality video violated.
Well,
I hope I don't get a message be like, if you know these people, send us the info, and it's like, oh shit, I'm a federal fucking snitch now, like just because on my channel we exposing shit, and like damn. Allegedly, though.
So,
we have to say allegedly.
Okay, allegedly.
I want to say last week you talked about the school shooting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a story about that. It was two separate stories, but it was one story where one of the little girls I'm gonna say the self-preservation is motherfucker, right?
Yeah, no. Let me elaborate with you. How would they learn what she did though? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And that's the thing about it, because at that age, who thinks of things like that? You've covered yourself with blood from one of your dead classmates' bodies, play dead, get a cell phone to call out the 911. That's genius level thinking right there. You know what I mean? If for a child to be, it was an elementary school, so they probably didn't go no higher than 5th grade.
Right? She probably like 10 or 11 years old. Maybe.
And
smeared blood on herself and played dead.
Who taught her that?
Who teaches you know what I'm saying? Like, damn.
Like, there's just too many things that don't add up about what happened. In my personal opinion, that is in no way shape on the fact of the official opinion of the People's Podcast.
False flag.
Thank you very much. And then another thing, though, the school district, the law enforcement stopped cooperating and stuff. I just got the news break. They stopped cooperating for the investigation because they're gonna find even more wrongdoing. Like they waited an hour to hear innocent children get shot, and then a former Marine or whoever it was went in and got the job done. Walked past police, walked past all the stuff.
Listen, it was a mama. Some little girl's mom. They tried to allegedly. After all the police had allegedly went in and allegedly got their children out and allegedly stopped the other parents from going in and getting their own children out, they had allegedly arrested somebody's mama for allegedly trying to get into the school to get her daughter. Now, she was allegedly a badass and allegedly spun up off of them and allegedly got up in that school and got her daughter out. But this is why, in my personal opinion, there are allegedly too many things that allegedly are not adding up.
And it's a lot of stuff we don't know, because you got to look at it like this, though. You covered that very well. But the thing is, things that we don't know, the cover up. How often do you see law enforcement agents just not cooperating with each other? Agencies. I'm sorry.
Especially
as far as the local
situation like that.
Even if they don't, they gonna work together. Allegedly they supposed to.
Yeah, but it's not no allegedly what happened. The two factions actually stopped cooperating with each other, and then it is what it is now. So where do we go from here? And you got to think about why they're not cooperating in anything. They're gonna find more stuff that went wrong, that was wrong. So, but it's nothing you can cover up now. There's everything. The kettle has exploded.
I mean, well, we only getting what they putting out, and the media is controlled anyway, so it's hard to say. And then, you know, somebody could have been there from jump, a teacher with a camera, you know, and recording everything, and they'll find a way to put their own spin on it the way they want to.
Well, the spin is we saw clearly the shooter going into the back door of the school.
My question is, why elementary school? Because normally in a situation like that, he was like 18, 19, so you would put him in high school. You would think that he would have been got bullied at school or something like that.
Man,
and he
I need y'all to think about. I need y'all to
school.
think about something very clearly, right? The mama, who is not at all involved, who supposedly, according to her words in the video, was not involved in what happened, asked for forgiveness for her, and her son, and then said, and I quote, and
Sorry.
the video, and if you go back and look at the news story, they'll see this. I know he had his reasons. Now again, to me,
what reason is there to kill children?
To me personally, that implies that there's a whole lot more. Then again, I'm also a conspiracy theorist, so it don't take much to get me to look at something like something ain't adding up. So to me personally, there's some kind of agenda or something that we're not being told about. That's just my personal opinion, in no way affiliated with the opinion of Abdul Harris or the People's Podcast.
I'm gonna put my government on there. It's Dooley Harris. Damn. It's a wrap.
It's right there.
I mean, it's a bad look. With the mom, it was another mom that wasn't the mom of the shooter that you said, right? Was trying to get into the school.
Mm-hmm.
They stopped her. I wonder what made them let the ex-military dude go through, but stop the mom. Because I can understand it for them stopping the mom, but you would have thought they would have stopped the ex-military dude too, because you don't want them to be another casualty.
Listen, here's the thing. As far as my understanding goes, they didn't even know he was former military till he was coming back out the school, and they tried to accost him, and that's when they saw his military identification.
Oh,
but they wasn't going in.
Yeah,
that's a whole other thing too.
Here's the thing, right? Police and emergency response teams are trained for these kind of scenarios.
They don't do it though. And then I'm sorry, excuse me. I have to interject.
They do and they don't.
The so-called head officer was like, we're trained to where if there's only one officer at the scene, he's supposed to go in. But no, they like, maybe they don't get paid enough.
I've never heard of an officer really. I mean, well, you know they do, but for the most part, they usually wait for backup. Ain't that kind of like protocol?
Yeah,
not when there's children involved in an active shooter situation. Children,
no, exactly. Go ahead.
Children hostages completely changes the whole entire situation around from adult hostages. Like I got a cop in my family. There was a little bit of respect lost there for that career decision, but that's neither here nor there. But I got a cop in my family. The hostage protocol that's in place when you're dealing with somebody who has a bunch of children taken hostage, and the protocol that's in place when you're dealing with somebody who has a bunch of grown folks taken hostage, and the protocol that you use when you're dealing with somebody that has a mixture of children and grown folks taken. Those are three different protocols. And when it's children, the protocol is you go in and get them children out.
So, but still, you wait. What do they call it when a dude go rogue and he ain't law enforcement and take it upon himself to?
He didn't go rogue. The people
why did you have to wait for
that's called a street hero? That's what that's called. That's called a street hero.
Why would you have to wait for a vigilante to come in there to risk his life to do your job?
He had proper training. He had better training than them, obviously.
They didn't know that at the time.
Exactly. But they let him in. They let him in. He was supposed to get dealt with, or arrested and detained, and get kept away from the situation.
They supposed to hem him up before he even made it to the door. For all you know, he might have been another shooter.
Exactly.
Right, and that's just what I'm saying. That's why I say as far like personally, there's just too many things that.
Exactly.
Man.
School shootings is actually more common than what people think or know. You know what I mean? It's about 10 to 12 of them a year. and a lot of the times they don't even make the news.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely.
And here's the thing, right? Where were all this all the alleged electronic security protocol and safety nets that the feds are allegedly throwing out there looking for keywords and all of that, and all these alleged electronic communications that they found that this man had, where he was planning this stuff allegedly since he was 17. How did he not come across a blip on somebody's radar?
A
Well,
lack of
he actually
FBI
posted
and CIA and
on.
whoever
He
involved in
posted.
that doing their job.
He posted that he
Because
was
they
going to do
allegedly
it.
they allegedly got text messages that he sent from his phone and on Instagram to his friends when he was 16 and 17, talking about how he needed a rifle so he could go do this. Like all these things, right? Right? It wasn't a blip on somebody's radar when this man bought over 18,000 rounds of ammunition.
I
That
mean,
wasn't
well,
a blip on somebody's radar.
he brought that much
Yes, he bought over 18,000 rounds of ammunition in 60-round magazines.
because a lot of it is just blowing smoke.
But
You
at the
know
same
somebody
time,
personally-
allegedly, this is allegedly being said. But at the same
Yeah.
time, he used a handgun. What did he use?
I'm just saying, like, I believe he used a rifle, but
It
how
was
many
allegedly,
times have you
they
been
say it was
around?
an AR-15. The news says that it was an AR-15,
It's always an
modified,
AR-15.
a modified AR-15 at that. That's what the news says. The news says it was an AR-15, and that he
But,
had over
okay.
18,000 rounds of ammunition.
What was the name of that movie where they had the things called the precogs and they could see crime happen before it happened?
I remember the movie you're talking about. I can't think of the
Yeah,
name.
yeah,
so.
okay, right. It was I want to call him Tom Hanks, but Tom Cruise. That's what it was, right?
No,
So, okay.
it was the Terminator. What's his name?
No,
That's
this
who was
this
in
is
it.
the Tom Cruise movie, man. It had Colin Farrell in it. Colin Farrell took over his job and they turned him out to be like a menace to society type thing. Is okay. So how many times have you been around family members and friends and you've heard them say things out of anger and you just took it as, oh man, they just blowing smoke. And they might have said that about a particular person or multiple people
Here's the
in
thing.
general over years.
Here's the thing. Is you gonna listen? Here's the thing, right? We all from kind of the same area, right? If you hear somebody talking about, like, now again, right? We know how real shit gets where we at, right? I don't know the kind of environment and community that he's from, but where I'm from, if we hear motherfuckers talking about how you about to shoot some shit up, we not looking at this nigga like he just full of hot air. We looking at this nigga like, who you talking about, nigga? Put a name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's what it is.
when some shit like that come from a person that ain't never even swatted a fly before, a lot of the times you gonna
Listen,
tend
them
not.
the ones that I personally feel you should be aware of the most. The most peaceful, quiet people, them be the ones with the most demons in their head.
I can't say that.
Listen,
I don't know.
I
if
know
say
I can say that because I was the quiet kid and in the back of the classroom that ain't say nothing, and I had the most demons in my head.
I was always told this coming up, and still to this day, I believe it rang true. That quiet one is the one that you got to worry about. Because a lot of the times, motherfuckers just sitting there wolfing, puffing up their chest, talking about what they gonna do, and they ain't gonna do shit because it's a deterrent to keep a motherfucker off their ass.
Mm-hmm. The loudest one in the room.
That's what
Usually
the
the soft.
one, usually the weakest one or the brokest one is what they say.
Mm-hmm.
From experience, though, I've learned to take any threat seriously. You know what I mean? You could blow it off, hey, that motherfucker ain't gonna do nothing. The next thing you know, pow, you ain't here no more.
I treat any threat just like I would treat any firearm.
It's safe when not in anybody's hands.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, elaborate on what you mean by that.
Yeah.
Listen, they tell you when you go through firearm safety training, they tell you to treat even if it's your gun and you know 100% certain for a fact it is empty, to treat every firearm as if it is loaded.
Right.
I treat every threat the same way. I treat every threat as if it is loaded.
On another note, on a lighter note, we have evolved. The show has evolved into this. Went from these were
we too
perilous
radical.
times.
Yeah, where we at right now is where it all originally started from, man. I mean, the goal was to always, at least for me, to enlighten people to, you know, what's really going on in the world, man. Be aware of the wool that they're trying to pull over your eyes.
Exactly. Like that's one of the reasons why I love when I'm able to come in and jump on the podcast, because like I feel like it's a lot that needs to be said that people need to be made aware of, man. And in all honesty, like you got a following, and so as I'm building my following up, I'm piggybacking off of yours right now. I'm keeping it
and
up.
that's the way we work though. Like I network with people. Honestly, I do.
One hand's supposed to wash the other.
Yeah, exactly. So when you see me post it, like post this, yeah, I will. I will. I mean, closed mouths don't get fed. And at the end of the damn day, like, shoot, your fans might be my fan. My fans definitely gonna be your fan.
Yeah, like I even noticed too, man. Like even with my like just as time goes on slowly and like, but more noticeably to myself, the way I view things is still, even today, at going to be 30 years old, it's still evolving and changing. Like when I first, like going back to TikTok, when I first got on TikTok like a year or two ago, you know, it was just something to just bullshit at and scroll through the videos, maybe join in on a couple videos and have some laughs here. Now, if you go look at my page, majority of my videos is talking about something political or socioeconomic.
Right. And let me piggyback off of that
Something
because
that people need.
a lot of things I learned, I came from TikTok and it wasn't no challenges, wasn't no dances. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I see you doing a challenge or a dance, you are dismissed, sir.
Listen, I don't do the challenges or the dance. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I will see a video that seems kind of funny and I'll sit there and duet my reaction to it or whatever. But if you look at my videos, majority of the videos is me talking about some real shit or duetting something that somebody else said that was some real shit.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, I don't think TikTok is being filtered the same way YouTube was, because you know when YouTube first hit, it was a really big thing, and over time, you know, you could learn a lot. You got a lot of information, a lot of truth on what's going on in the world in YouTube. But every so often, they scrub the internet and wipe clean a lot of that, because a lot of that information is detrimental to the government if people really knew what they was doing.
Oh no, listen, no. TikTok do scrubs too. Like if you get too informative in your videos, they'll take them down.
That's probably
Like,
why I've never seen a real TikTok video go past more than like maybe 5 minutes at the most. You know what I mean? And
you can have a 3-minute TikTok video at the longest.
You know what I'm saying? And
but do you understand how much information you can get out there in that little bit of time?
Oh, you absolutely.
But you can't elaborate on nothing that you're saying unless you make another video to do it. Because I mean,
here's the thing.
A lot of that stuff can fall
never underestimate the power of planting the seed. Because you know what? My job might be just to plant the seed. It might be Bully's job to water the seed and to weed the garden. And it might be your job to go reap the harvest once the seed is fully sprouted. You be like, all right, man, come on now. It's your turn to plant the seed.
And the whole point of us is to spark interest. It's on you to comprehend.
Yeah, like if you were intrigued by what I was saying enough to stop and listen, it's on you to go do your further research.
Yeah. But you know, a lot of folks don't want to do that, man. And you know, the old saying goes, you know what I'm saying, you want to keep something from a nigga where you put it at.
In the book.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So that come along with it though, because people are, man, and I've even had cases of that before, even before TikTok came out. I was big on YouTube researching and trying to learn things. And man, just because somebody's saying something and it sounds good, don't make it to be true. So you can learn some nonsense that you don't even need to know, and you taking it, running it, and spreading it, you know what I'm saying, like wildfire, and you misinforming the people.
That's why knowing how to search through a library is so important. Like
Yeah, but
these
that ain't
kids
something
don't
that's
even
popular to do.
like these kids like they don't teach the Dewey Decimal System no more. They don't teach they don't teach the alphabetical order of the author's names. Like they don't teach you how to go into a library and research no more.
I was just having a discussion about how bad the school system is nowadays, man. And it's sickening, but you got to look at it this way. Would you want generations and generations of critical thinkers that's actually thinking for themselves and asking questions, or would you want a bunch of dumb people that you can manipulate into doing whatever you want them to do?
Are you asking me? Or are you asking what I think the government wants? Because I know what
the government wants.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Because I want many multiple generations of critical thinkers to the point to where the idea of a federal organized government becomes obsolete because everything is able to be resolved at the individual community level.
Right. But
like that's the level of critical thinkers I'm trying to create.
But how can you control people that can think for themselves and function on their own? You can't.
And that's why the oppressors will never give you the tools you need to overthrow them. You got to get it yourself. Allegedly.
I mean, it ain't, but okay, so y'all dude Keith Wallace, he a rapper out in Florida. You heard of him?
Who?
Keith Wallace.
Nope.
Okay, go check him out on YouTube, man. He got some good music on there, man. But his slogan is each one reach one, because when you reach one, you can teach one. It's on us as adults, elders, whatever you want to say, to give this to the next generation. Because if you don't, they're gonna be lost. I mean, I never realized how much we was all dependent on the government and teaching and whatnot, and then going back and actually learning for myself and seeing how much thought was lies and whatnot, man.
Yeah. Like after I got out of high school and I started, because my love for history, I didn't develop the love for history until after I was out of high school. Like, but once I actually got to going and looking up stuff myself and realizing like these books that's in this same library right down the street from my high school is saying something entirely different than what was in the textbooks that we was getting in my high school. Right.
A lot of them books might not have been written by people from America either.
Yeah.
Or wasn't properly educated. They just scanning and printing. Like if you work at Google, you scan, print, and that's what it is.
And see, that's the thing right there, man. Is why is everybody so dependent on getting information from Google, and like Google is gospel truth? I don't understand it.
You were just saying it earlier when you were talking about how they allegedly don't want a generation of critical thinkers.
Yeah, but you would think that because it's Google and Google is this big search engine and everything on there is accurate. But what will make you think that lies on there as well?
Listen, I remember when for a high school research project, you wasn't even allowed to use Google. They looked at Google like they looked at Wikipedia. If you put this as a source of information, you fail.
But see, people talk down so bad on Wikipedia, but if you actually know how to research, check your references, and cross-check your references, Wikipedia is a good tool to use.
Yeah, I know that, and we know that. But I'm saying, but I remember when the schools and the teachers treated Google the same way they treat Wikipedia.
Now, yeah, you had to get your information from the encyclopedia back in the day.
Yeah, like you actually had to go find you a book and say what book your information came from.
But even in them books, you can still be.
There was more often than not there was a list of approved books that we were allowed to do our research out of.
I'm sick of using allegedly the quote unquote funny years. So man, look, thank you for trying to save me from not getting banned or anything like that. I appreciate that, man. This been a real one. We gotta continue this though, and then from here on out, I'm finna work on more guests though.
Absolutely, man. We got to figure out a way to push it more.
Yeah,
I'm waiting on you to say that the t-shirts is on deck.
That's not an issue. That's not an issue. The only issue is like I gotta get the right person to do it. And the right person to have my shit correct was on point. I talked to them the other day and it was like you can go somewhere else, but it ain't gonna be what it is. Or like fuck.
So what's they hold up? Why they ain't able to get you done yet?
Man, they doing big things, man. They're doing very, very big things. So
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
if they tell me to hold on and wait, that's what I'm gonna do.
All right.
Instead of
Better
going to
that
where
way.
everybody else go, like shit. I might have a motherfucker. Ain't no telling what the hell they might give me back in return, and it's gonna be overpriced.
The thing about this, man, is especially with talking about a lot of the stuff that we talk about, a lot of people don't want to jump off that cliff and put themselves out there like that, even though they think in the exact same way we may be thinking. Or I mean, they views or
Listen,
opinions can be totally different, and it's nice to hear them totally different views and opinions, but they don't want
everybody wants to be everybody wants to be a revolutionary, but nobody wants to be a martyr.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know why? Because
Everybody
they want to see change, but they don't want to make it.
Yeah,
but
listen.
we just talking about
Everybody,
change before. All
everybody
change
wants
may
to be a part of the revolution. Everybody wants to down with Rage Against the Machine. Everybody a rebel. Everybody a revolutionary. But ain't nobody ready to get their head chopped off if they believe.
Yeah, and you know why? Because it's gonna be people that be like, "Oh, damn, that's messed up. Better not do that."
I mean, well, we've seen it too many times where leaders have been destroyed. So people, I mean, do you really want to put yourself out there just to have your life's work or
And it
whatever?
makes sense.
Everything
I'm
you
not
take
saying it's wrong. You're right. You're right.
I don't know, man. I look at it as I can't like. On the one hand, while I do understand it, on the other hand, if that's your mentality, then I feel like that you have no way to. If you are not willing to die to see the change happen, then you have no way. You have no room to complain about the fact that there is no change.
True. But
Like
see,
you not.
you got
Look,
a different mindset.
I agree very much.
Your truth.
I agree very much with the civil rights leaders of the 60s and 70s when they said if you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem.
Absolutely. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this one. It's been real. CMB, we all we got, honestly.
Absolutely. Hey, listen.
Yeah, my brother's keeper. Yes, we are. And then you know what? This been real. I'm gonna let this go. It's gonna be a little second before it get uploaded. I gotta handle some business and great job. I'll hit y'all up. Rick right here with me though, but you know what I'm saying. Mike, I got you.
Yes, sir.
See you next week, Lord willing.
Absolutely.
All right now.
All right.